Are you having trouble doing your podcast? Are you struggling with the ums and the uhs and the filler words and don't know how to edit your podcast, or are you having trouble like putting it together? Well, today I got something for you. It's going to eliminate all of that, and it's going to make your podcasting editing much, much easier. So let's jump into it. All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about how to actually get some cool things done on your podcast in the way of editing through 3 AI tools that's going to make podcasting a breeze. All right. So we're going to talk about 3 AI tools today that's going to make your podcasting a breeze, so you don't have to worry about, struggling over trying to figure these things out. Right. And so it's super cool the way I actually figured out about these AI tools. It's because first of all, I went to Eric Thomas's 120 conference, I think back in 2021, I believe. And I got VIP ticket, yes. Not VIP, platinum VIP. I got the platinum VIP. I got the top boy, like he says, the top boy. You got the big dog boy, right? So I went platinum VIP to the 120 conference, and when I got there, he was really we had 2 days. If you got the platinum VIP, you got a second day on the conference, and you got like paper and pencil, and then they had this whole little thing. So it was pretty cool. So one of the people that work with Eric Thomas is Nikki, right? And Nikki is like this social media guru, I would say. Like, she's really good at social media. She's really good at, she got her YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So she was doing a little segment on, putting out content and how she can put out content. And she started telling us about all of these great tools. And then she got around to this AI tool and was saying, hey, this AI tool can cut stuff up for you, can make all these things for you. You don't even have to do it. So now you just made 30 pieces of content with just one tool. All right, just one video and this one tool. So I was like, oh, sniggity snizzap now. I'm about to use this when I got home. And of course I didn't use it, but a few months later, I saw a post of hers where she was talking about some different AI tools. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try it this time. So I went out and I tried them, and I was like, these are awesome. And they are definitely worth the price of admission. Okay. Now, a lot of these you can do actually for free. Okay. And the ones that I'm going to tell you today, they're just a few of them. There's a lot more that you can use, and they are absolutely free. And you don't even have to worry about paying for any of those things. All right. Now, they do have paid versions, but you can use the basic versions, get a feel. Some of them you use basic version for free, get a feel of it. But then some of them you can use basic version, and it'll get you through until you need more, right? So that's kind of the tools that we're looking for. That free tool that we can use that can get us through until we get to a point where it's like, all right, now let's pay for it because we're using this quite often, right? So like I said, I'm gonna go through 3 of these ones that can really, really help you, and you're gonna absolutely love them. So I want you to take these, write it down, get your paper and pencil. I want you to write them down, okay? And I want you to go out and use them this week, okay? So we're about action on this podcast. We're about action here, okay? All right. We have to build a purpose-driven podcast so that we can go out there and change the world with our ministry, with our business, and our things like that. Okay. So let's go. All right. So the first tool, sir, ma'am, man of God, woman of God, is called Headliner, Headliner. Okay. Headliner. So Headliner is like this. Like, have you ever wanted to share a sneak peek of your podcast on Instagram or TikTok, but you just didn't know how to make it look cool? Well, this is where Headliner comes in, right? It's going to turn parts of your podcast into complete waveforms and captions so you can grab everyone's attention online. Okay, so waveforms are literally just that audio. Okay, it's basically just talking about audio when I say waveforms. So it's gonna take your audio and the video, and it's gonna cut it up so it will really make a difference with your posts when you actually put them out. Okay, so this is a good tool to use to grab people's attention, to draw them in to your podcast. All right, so that one is headliner. All right, that one is pretty cool. So that's number one. All right, number two, and I love this one. And man, I actually used it. I actually used this one yesterday. Was it yesterday? Okay, I think I used it yesterday. Yeah, I did use it yesterday. And this one is called Otter.ai. Okay. Now, what Otter does is it basically listens to your episodes, and it literally writes everything that you're saying. It listens to your episodes and it writes everything that you're saying. Now, why is this important? Well, this is important because you're going to end up getting a transcript of your podcast. Now, if we use that transcript, we can use that transcript in many different ways. All right. How do we use that transcript? First of all, you can use that transcript to put captions on your video if you take your podcast from audio to YouTube where it's video, right? So you can use it there. The next thing you can do is you can take that transcript and you can put it into ChatGPT. Here's another one. You guys know about ChatGPT. You can put it in ChatGPT and say, make show notes off of this, and it'll create show notes. You could also take that same transcript and you can turn it into a blog post. You can put that into ChatGPT and say, make a blog post off of this, and it'll create a blog post for you, right? You can also take that same transcript and you can put it in here and say, make this a chapter of a book, and it'll create a chapter for the book, and you'll take that and you'll save it. And as you continue to do podcast episodes, you'll take your transcript and you'll put them in ChatGPT and make book chapters, and now you've written an entire book without having to write. Isn't that amazing? Man, I give you guys gold up here, man. I give you guys gold up here. So Otter literally writes everything down. It gives you a written copy for that. Now, it also does this. It also will show up in your Zoom accounts, right? So I use it in my Zoom, and it takes down notes in my Zoom. It writes down everything that I did. So it does it for Zoom. It does it for your podcast. It is a great tool, and I absolutely love it. I used it yesterday in my Zoom when I talked to my table builders in my table builder society. All right. Hop on board if you're not in yet. Okay. All right. And then the last one is called Descript. Okay. This is like editing your podcast. Literally. Okay. It cuts out all of the filler words like the uhs and the ums, because that's the time consuming thing. That's the thing that's going to take you the most time anyway. Listening to if you do a whole hour, imagine you did a whole hour podcast. Now you got to go back and listen to the whole podcast and edit each part of the podcast. Like, you got to listen to the entire thing, and it might be an hour and running. So you think, oh, it's just going to take me an hour to edit. No, it's going to take you probably about 2 hours, because you got to stop and you got to cut and you got to place, and then you got to make sure it's good, and then you got to go back and listen. Then you can go. All right. And imagine if you had a in every second and a half, right? Every time you have that, then that's going to create a more time for you to have to go in and cut. And that's why my podcast is strictly organic. I love the organic conversations that we have, or that I'm having with you rather. And because of that, then I don't have to worry about cutting out ums and because that's the natural flow of a conversation. That's the way I want it. Now, maybe it was just a little bit laziness on my part when it comes to that. But I just feel like the good organic conversations work the best on here. And, robotic conversations. But if this is your cup of tea, right, because everybody likes different things. And you want to cut out your filler words. If you feel like you don't sound right, if you say and things like that, but then you can use Descript. It will take all of that stuff out for you, as if you had a person already sitting there. You can just give it to your assistant and let that person do that, right? See, now that the world is becoming automated, we don't have to, like, hiring becomes a different thought process now when you're thinking in terms of business, or you're thinking in terms of your ministry, right? Your hiring looks a little bit different, because normally to edit a podcast, you would have to get an actual person. You say, hey, look, 3 hours a week, I pay you $20 an hour. That's $60 a week to edit this, and it's not going to take you long. It's 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 3 hours, I pay you $20 an hour to edit this. All right, cool. So as opposed to paying somebody $60, you can let AI do it for you for probably about 10 or 15 bucks a month, right? As opposed to $60 a week. Does that make sense? So that is actually now hiring help. You're delegating your tasks that take a long time to something or someone else, right? So we're taking this and we're giving it to social media, and we're letting social media do this for us. Or not social media. The AI tools do this for us. Okay? So now we're good to go, and we're golden. So this is what we talked about. We talked about headliner, right? That's the first one that we talked about. You can share a sneak peek of your podcast on TikTok or Instagram. All right, so that cuts it out for you. Then you got otter.ai. Otter.ai will make a transcript of your podcast, so you can take it and turn it into a blog post, turn it into a book chapter, can turn it into, take it and turn it into show notes. Show notes are the bane of my existence, right? I really hate writing show notes. So what I do is I take my transcripts and I put it in ChatGPT and let it create show notes for me, along with the time codes and stuff. So it's an amazing tool. So otter.ai, that'll work for you. All right. Then Descript. Descript is like editing your podcast. It's taking out the ums and all of that goofy stuff, right? So those are the three tools. That's what we talked about. Those are the three ways that it can help you do this. And don't forget that you need to hire out people. And this is the way you hire out, right? As you're starting, you're just new, you need to delegate so you can spend more time with your family. You can spend more time creating new episodes. You can spend more time doing something else that's going to be more productive than having to waste your time sitting there editing all that stuff. All right, so this will do it for you. And I hope that this helps you and that you can take this and go ahead and take your podcast to the next level by putting more episodes together in less than 2 hours a week, so that you can put those out to the world without having a lot of stress or overwhelm. Okay? So I hope this blessed you, man. If it does, man, make sure that you share this with somebody else. And remember, everything that you do today affects your future. So remember, tomorrow, I'm Derek Harper, and I will see you in the next video.